Previously on Hammer. We're out of the Europa League. Stuttgart 2, West Ham 2. And that makes it 5 matches in a row that we have not won in. But things went from bad to worse. Pyatt's injured for 4 months. He's young. He's hungry. Can Sebastian Driussi claim his rightful place as heir of the left wing? Driussi's good, but why? Find out today on Hammer. What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 30 of If I Had a Hammer. And today we'll be taking on Watford away in the Premier League. But before we get to that, of course, we must go over how we've been faring in the last month's worth of matches. And since it is the middle of the January transfer window, we did make a couple of signings in, as well as sending a couple on their way. So let's get into those first before we get into the matches. We only sold off 2 players, and the first one is a rather sad one because I thought he would have developed a lot faster than what he did, is Borja San Emeterio, who we originally brought in from Racing Santander on a release clause of £900,000. Unfortunately, we sold him at a loss to Norwich, only got £600,000 back, but at the same time, like I said, I really wasn't using him. He wasn't developing as much as I wanted to, and with the addition of Sam Byram and Callum Chambers now into the mix, he was never ever going to make the starting roster. So it was better just to ship him off on his way, and Norwich were the ones who came in and ultimately took him. So it was really sad to see him go because I thought he had a lot more potential, but just never realized it here. And then the other player we sold off was Alassane Playa, and we got 100% profit off of him. If you remember, we got him on a free during the summer transfer window, but he only featured in one time, and I believe it was during a cup match. Him being a right winger, of course, he was playing behind Zivkovic, and Zivkovic, whenever he's fit, or at the very least above a 90%, he is going to start because he is a difference maker out on the pitch. So he was whining and moaning about not getting not just play time, but starting time. And there was just no way he was going to start in front of Zivkovic. So I sold him off to Leicester City for £7.75 million. And I can't believe I was able to get that much out of him when I didn't really play him all that much. But Leicester were in the business of signing players, and they really needed someone. And I was looking to sell him away. So play it off to Leicester for a nice hefty sum. Coming around on the transfers in, we pretty much used the playa money to bring in Zach Clough from Hull City. We spent £7.25 million on him, and right now he is a third choice striker behind Vardy and Poyampalo, of course, but that may change. He may become a second choice because Jamie Vardy is looking to move away. We have a couple of clubs coming in for him. Surprisingly, both of them are in China. I know the game is probably thinking it's real life too, but we have a couple of Chinese clubs coming in for Jamie Vardy. I don't want to get rid of him just this second. He is valuable to us for this season. He's still pretty fast, but bringing in Zach Clough and trying to vet him in, trying to integrate him into the squad, by next season we should be able to have him as a second choice striker, if not pull him back into a center attacking mid role and try and utilize him there. And now let's get into the run of matches. Since that dismal Stuttgart draw, we actually went nearly undefeated in the league, starting off with a 2-0 victory away from home against West Bromwich Albion. Carol Linetti, and Jamie Vardy getting goals for the side. We had 8 shots, 5 of them being on target only, and roughly the same amount of possession. West Brom having more shots than us, but they're very unfortunate in that they were not accurate. So overall, the team played above average. I want to say that we dominated them more than the stats showed, as we were obviously able to take our chances and get the goals. And a nice solid 3 points away from home. We continued our pounding of the lower half of the table as we took on Derby and defeated them by the score of 2-1. We weren't the first team to score though. Jordan Rhodes for Derby County got them off to a wonderful start in the 4th minute, but Joel Poyampalo getting himself a brace to give us the victory. And take a look at that, 25 shots, 14 of them on target, 67% possession. I rarely see possession that high, but then again, we are moving in to be a possession-based team. And when you have the ball that much, you can do wonders with it. You can obviously move into their attacking third a lot more, and I was happy to see that we took as many shots as we did. It could have easily been 4-1, 5-1, just because of how much we were harrying and harassing the goalkeeper for Derby County. So nice to see us come away with the victory, but like I said, could have been a lot more. It was a cold, rainy night in Stoke, but we were able to come away with a 2-1 victory against them. Julian Dessart and Brandon Galloway, two names that you don't really see on the score sheet, but they came up big today, and Stoke's only goal scorer being Joselu in the last 6 minutes of the match. Once again, 67% possession. When you see that much of the ball, we should have a lot more shots than what we did. I would have liked to have seen the amount of shots we took versus Derby, but this time around, 14 shots, only 5 of them being on targets, and overall, a above average to great day from everybody on the pitch. Another game that we flat bossed, but somehow we scraped away with a 1-0 victory over Southampton. Yol Poyampalo in the 30th minute being the only goal scorer for both sides. We had 13 shots, 6 of them being on target. Once again, another match where we had over 60% possession, but we just couldn't turn it around into goals this time around. Once again, everybody played above average to great. Sam Byram being the man of the match, leading that stalwart defensive line to prevent Southampton from getting any sort of shot on goal, or to prevent a lot of shots on goal, I should say. They had 4 on targets, but Jack Butland was able to save all of them. In the end, keep a clean sheet, and once again, give us another 3 points. But after 4 matches in a row unbeaten, the car came to a screeching halt as we lost to Leicester away from home 1-0. Mark Albrighton being the only goal scorer for the Foxes, and that was only 1 shot out of 2 on targets for Leicester the entire day. We had 13 shots taken, but actually only 2 on target ourselves. 60% possession. I felt that the possession that we had could have ultimately led to goals down the road, but Jamie Vardy was rather disappointing up in front of net today. Probably still had a soft spot for his old club, but at the same time, everybody around him should have picked up the slack, but just didn't. We played super average. And once again, those average matches usually go more against us than for us, and on this day, it didn't get us any result. But we rebounded quite nicely in our last match before this Watford match, as we took on Brentford in the FA Cup and defeated them soundly by the score of 3-0. Julian Dessart with a brace, and Sebastian Driussi getting himself on the score sheet just before halftime. Those 3 goals were part of 5 that were on target, 9 shots in total, once again above 60% possession, as we just completely bossed Brentford around the park, did not allow them many opportunities. Although they did have 11 shots, only 2 of them were on target, and Jack Butland once again making the 2 easy stops to prevent anybody from scoring on Brentford's side and getting the clean sheet. We move on to the 4th round, and we have drawn at home against Wickham. Another very easy tie. Hopefully we'll move on to the 5th round. After those 4 wins in our last 5 league matches, we have shot up the table into 8th place, 30 points through 19 matches. Looking at the top 4, Spurs sitting at the top of the table at the halfway point. Maybe it's their year, who knows? But right behind them, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle, with Manchester United rounding out the top 5. Looking at the relegation candidates, Aston Villa, West Brom, and Derby, with Cardiff and Burnley sitting right there, and Everton as well, all sitting teetering about 4 points away from that relegation area. So interesting teams to look out for, especially in Everton. But as we are taking on Watford today, who are sitting in 13th place, you want to say it's an easy win, but they do have some dangers that we need to point out. Watford are going to come out in a 4-5-1 V formation, and just take a look at their top 3. They have Wanmi, Januzaj, and Ciro Immobile. Immobile actually a very good player in this FM, so we really have to watch out and try and close him out, especially Wanmi and Januzaj on the wing, so they don't cross the ball into Immobile. Looking down the list, you have Ogbonna, former Hammer there, sitting in defense, but other than that, it's nothing too special. Maybe Backer, maybe Zuccolini will give us a little trouble as we're moving forward, but nothing that we shouldn't have already seen. Which leads us to the starting lineup we'll have today. We're going to come out in a 4-2-3-1, be a little bit more attacking, try to put Watford on their back foot, and this is who we're going to have starting. Jack Butland will be in net, Byram, Hoban, Lucas, and Cresswell will be along the back line. Dessart and Fellaini will be the 2 center mids, with Zivkovic, Van den Drisha, and Driussi along the attacking mid line. Van den Drisha moving up to play in the center attacking mid role, and Driussi moving over to the left to replace the injured Payet. And then we have Yol Poyampalo sitting up front, of course starting in place of Jamie Vardy, as Jamie Vardy has really not been in the best of form lately. So hopefully Yol can fill in the gaps, pick up the slack. He's had 7 goals over his last 13 matches compared to 8 and 13 for Vardy, but it just seems like whenever Vardy doesn't score, he just plays lousy. So let's hope that Yol can put in a very solid performance today, get a couple of goals, and give us the win. So cross fingers, let's hope we get the win. But let's kick off and see what happens. And early on, it's just a lot of one-way traffic. Watford getting it into the box. Januzaj taking a shot, lasers it past the crossbar. Julian getting it through to Zivkovic. He can cut inside. He can also lay off a pass. He instead gets around 2 guys, takes a shot, but Kalinic, the Watford goalkeeper, there with the save. 24 minutes gone, and Watford now coming up with the ball. Januzaj slipping it through. Oh my God. Immobile passing off to Januzaj, and Januzaj puts Watford up 1-0. I cannot believe that the defense weren't able to block that, and Butland didn't save it. Let it be known that that was also Watford's first shot on target, because, of course it is. We've had 3 shots, all of them have been on target, and there could have been a lot better effort between defender and goalie. Cresswell with the throw-in. Van den Driesche with a bruised head. I may sub him out at halftime, but we'll keep him going for now. Fellaini has to go all the way back to the middle. Sam Byram looking for the overlap. Desart back out to Byram, who can put in a decent cross, but instead goes out to Desart. Back to Byram. Just wasn't bothered with trying to go after that ball and trying to win it back. He is a defender after all. That is his job. The ball through to Immobile, who finds Juan Mi. Juan Mi takes a shot. It's a good save from Butland. Not a lot of good play from our side, as we're just pretty much chasing the wingers and Immobile, as Watford once again coming up with an attack through to Januzaj, and Januzaj makes it 2, and Watford are just making it look easy. They're making all this passing look really easy, and making it look like we're standing still too, because just look at this, some great one-touch passing, deft touch passing, and Januzaj slots it through. How can we not block that? How can we not cut that out? And it's not like the team's playing bad on the day. We're 2-0 down, but outside of Driussi and Poyampalo, everybody else is doing rather well. So it's strange to see that they're playing as badly as they are. As far as players that I can put out there, Driussi may have to be subbed out for Benito Raman, just because he's looking frustrated, and I think he's fine in that position. Poyampalo, I'm going to sub him out for Jamie Vardy, and of course switch those roles up there, but I'll keep my last sub. I really did not want to make these subs right now, but I feel that a change is needed. We need to, change up the pace of play, and I think Raman and Jamie Vardy, both being very pacey players, maybe we can match Watford's pace with a pace of our own. So let's kick off second 45. Hopefully we can find a couple goals to equalize this match. Januzaj whipping it in. Far post, Hoban with the clearance. And it should cut out the attack. But Watford's still coming forward with it. Backer out to Januzaj. They're working very well with those wing plays and those crosses in. We just really can't do anything about it right now. Van den Driesche to Cresswell, Fellaini, Desart. And now Zivkovic is injured thanks to oh my God, Jamie Vardy. Zivkovic is with a thigh strain, and Van den Driesche had a gashed head. So I subbed out Van den Driesche because I don't have a spare right winger on the bench. We have not had a lot of luck going forward this half. It's pretty much been all Watford. Immobile coming forward. He is a little knackered himself, but it doesn't matter as Januzaj finds Juan Mi, the 2 wingers finding each other up, and Watford go up 3-0. What else can I say? I have everything set to the 3 guys up front, yet they are continuously running circles around me. I have my 2 center backs set to hold down, close down less so they can stay further back, and yet they're still running around like they don't want to listen to me. But it is looking very unlikely that we're going to come away with anything in this match, as Watford have been all over us after the first 10 minutes. We had 3 shots, and all 3 of them were on target in the first 10 minutes. And then since then, we did not have a single shot on target. We did not threaten goal, and Watford just took advantage of all of our miscues. I'm not happy that we lost that match. When did Watford score their first goal? 25 minutes in. At that point in time, that was their only shot on target, and since then, they had 6 more the entire way. Whereas we didn't have a single shot on target since that opening goal by Watford. just really disappointing. We also had almost 60% possession. Once again, a traditional Brian Gendo match where we have above 55% possession, but we can't do anything with it. It's really unfortunate, but we keep our place in 8th place for now. Let's take a look at the schedule to see when we will be coming back for our next match. Oh boy, more injuries. Van den Driesch is out for a week, and Zivkovic is out for 2 weeks. Great. As if I'm not stockpiling enough injuries as it is. So this is what our run of matches will look like for the next month. We have Newcastle, Man City, Everton, then the FA Cup match against Wickham, Aston Villa, Swansea, and Arsenal. I really want to come back and see how we do against Arsenal. I realize how tough it is, but if you take a look at the next 3 matches in Newcastle, Man City, and Everton, those are 3 tough matches right there. I'd be lucky if I come away with 3 points out of those. Maybe 3 draws, that'd be great, get a result from all of them. Wickham should be an easy win, move to the 5th round of the FA Cup, and then Aston Villa and Swansea, both of them sitting in the bottom half of the table. Swansea and actually Aston Villa being the relegation candidate. Hopefully pick up a couple wins versus them, leading into the London Derby versus Arsenal. So when we come back, it'll be Arsenal versus West Ham at the Olympic Stadium. So until that time, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and you want to see more FM content on the channel. Any comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.